Welcome to the deep dive. Today we're tackling a really significant shift in education.
Right.
It's all about the impact of artificial intelligence, AI, on project-based learning, PBL.
It's a hot topic.
Definitely. So we've sifted through insights from a recent Assessfy AI webinar. It featured, well, a whole range of experts, academia, industry, the lot.
A good mix.
Yeah. And our mission here is to really get under the hood, understand why PBL is seen as so valuable, but also what are the actual, sticking points.
The real challenges in making it work.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then how these AI tools might just be the game changers everyone's hoping for. Think of this as your shortcut through that landscape.
Sounds good. Where do we start?
Okay, let's ground ourselves first. PBL, what actually makes it different? Why all the buzz?
Well, the big shift fundamentally is putting the learner right in the center.
Okay.
They're actively solving real-world problems, usually working together, so it's less about just soaking up theory.
Right, passive learning.
Exactly. It's about getting practical experience, getting your hands dirty, and really feeling like you own that learning process.
That ownership point feels really crucial. I remember Dr. Jayantro Patil mentioning that having really well-defined learning outcomes and clear ways to evaluate progress, rubrics he called them, that's essential to keep students truly engaged.
Absolutely. It can't just be do a project. Students need to know what they're aiming for, how they'll be measured. Otherwise, that motivation just, well, it fizzles.
Yeah. And he also flagged group size, didn't he? How that affects who actually contributes.
Big time. Get the group size wrong, and you either have a few carrying the weight or others just getting lost in the shuffle.
Okay. And Dr. Rajesh Thakker, he really drove home that contrast with, let's call it, traditional teaching.
He did. He pointed out that real problems, messy, real-world stuff, they don't care about subject boundaries.
Ah, good point.
And they almost always need teamwork. So PBL gives you that experience communicating, collaborating.
And just figuring out where to even find the extra knowledge you suddenly realize you need.
Precisely. He framed it as building confidence, really. Confidence to tackle the messy stuff you know life will throw at you.
It's like building resilience.
Yeah.
Now, Dr. Sandeep Inamdar had this great analogy, learning to swim.
Ah, yes, I remember that.
You could read about buoyancy forever, but you only learn by, well, jumping in.
Exactly. Active participation.
He argued PBL builds this potent mix. Focus, technical skills, sure, but also life skills, creativity, innovation.
And importantly, the skill of spotting the right problem to solve in the first place.
He really stressed that, didn't he? It's not just about executing a predefined task. It's about the students defining the problem themselves.
Yes. That's where the deeper learning kicks in, using things like design thinking, maybe business modeling.
Can you just quickly unpack design thinking in this context? What does that look like?
Sure. So in PBL, design thinking is basically a problem-solving toolkit. You start by really understanding the user or the people-affected empathy, they call it. Then you define the core problem based on that understanding. Then you brainstorm ideas, build rough versions, prototypes, and test them out. It's very hands-on, iterative.
Got it. User-focused.
Right.
And this whole emphasis on, practical problem solving, it feels incredibly relevant right now.
Oh, absolutely. Bhupesh Daheria made a really sharp point about this. With AI like ChatGPT, Gemini, knowledge itself is almost a commodity now.
Right. It's everywhere.
So what becomes valuable? It's the application. Can you take that knowledge, synthesize it, use it to solve something new? That's where the skill lies. Practical training becomes critical.
And Jacob P.U. from Hexaware, he echoed that from the industry side.
Yeah, he did.
Said that in interviews, companies are zooming in on project experience. What did you do? What did you learn? How did you solve problems?
It's proof of capability, isn't it? Not just theoretical knowledge. Hands-on projects are what employers are looking for.
Which kind of highlights a potential gap in purely theory-based education.
A gap PBL seems tailor-made to fill if, and it's a big if, it's done well.
Okay, so that if brings us to the challenges. We see the potential, it's huge. But what stops PBL from being implemented effectively everywhere? Anita Ram from Assessfy laid out some core issues.
The practical hurdles.
Yeah. Just coming up with good project ideas, figuring out who does what project, then managing the time.
Making sure everyone pulls their weight in a team.
Right, and ensuring the quality of the final project is actually good. And then, the big one, evaluation. How do you fairly assess team-based work?
These are the day-to-day headaches for educators, absolutely. The sheer logistics, especially with, say, hundreds of students, it can be overwhelming.
Dr. Patil really expanded on that, particularly for larger institutions.
She did.
Mention things like, how do you even connect students with faculty who have the right expertise for their specific project?
We're forming teams that actually are multidisciplinary based on shared interests, not just random assignment.
And then assessing all these varied projects and somehow fitting that into the standard curriculum and grading structure.
It's a massive task. And he also talked about just monitoring progress continuously.
Yeah, the time commitment for faculty. They have so many other demands. Scalability feels like a major bottleneck.
It is. Truly effective PBL needs a serious investment of time and resources from faculty, and that's often the biggest constraint.
Dr. Rajesh added another wrinkle. Sometimes the problems faculty assign just get repetitive.
Yeah, stale project ideas. That can definitely happen.
Which kind of defeats the purpose, right? It dampens creativity if everyone's tackling the same old thing.
Exactly. You lose that spark, that chance for students to really stretch themselves intellectually.
Then Dr. Inamdar brought in this wider perspective, specifically looking at India. He observed that just telling schools do PBL from the top down hasn't really worked that well.
Needs buy-in from the ground up.
Absolutely. He stressed you need the teachers to believe in it, a real mindset shift. And he pointed out differences too, like teaching hours, student workloads compared to, say, top global universities.
Systemic factors.
Yeah. And he also raised flags about, well, authenticity. Are the projects rigorous? Are internships genuinely valuable learning experiences or just busy work?
Those are critical questions. If the assessment isn't robust or the projects lack depth, the whole value proposition of PBL gets shaky. You need that credibility.
Okay, so potential is clear, challenges are real and quite significant. Let's pivot now to the solutions part. How is AI stepping into this picture?
Right, the potential enhancer.
Anita Ram introduced Assessfy AI precisely as a way to tackle many of these challenges we just discussed.
Okay.
She listed quite a few features, things like smart project allocation helping match students and projects, an idea bank, which sounds user-friendly.
Sparking that creativity.
Yeah. A place to take materials, customizable rubrics for evaluation.
Consistency, that's key.
Milestone tracking, flexible evaluation like manual, fully AI, or a mix.
A hybrid approach. Interesting.
Continuous feedback loops, and even help assigning the right people to evaluate. It sounds pretty comprehensive.
It does, and you can see the appeal, right? The idea that AI could handle a lot of the admin, the time-consuming stuff.
Freeing up the educators.
Exactly. Letting them focus on the mentoring, the guiding, the deeper pedagogical aspects. That's the promise.
Jacob P.U. from Hexaware, he saw that potential too, especially for automating some basic checks and projects.
Making things more efficient.
He thought it could free up industry mentors, maybe even let companies offer more internships because the initial screening or checks are handled.
That's a tangible benefit for students trying to get industry exposure.
And he liked the idea of getting this combined view of a student academic progress and industry project performance all in one place.
Where that holistic picture could be incredibly powerful, yeah. A much richer understanding of someone's abilities.
Dr. Inamdar simply stated he believes AI tools could bring authenticity to assessments. And Dr. Ashish Tendulkar from Google, he focused on AI as a guide. He emphasized AI's ability to offer personalized guidance on how to learn something, how to tackle a project, even if you don't have much background knowledge.
Okay, like a personalized tutor.
Sort of, but he stressed the importance of the student learning to ask the right questions of the AI. The AI then acts as a guide, maybe even gives you starter code to get going.
Ah, so it's not just giving answers, it's guiding the process.
Exactly. He sees it as a complementary tool, providing feedback, automating bits, supporting the student's journey.
That scaffolding idea is really interesting. It could potentially open up more complex projects to more students.
And Dr. Rajesh, he shared some, well, pretty striking statistics, just the sheer number of research papers popping up about AI in education.
It's exploding, isn't it?
Clearly shows how much focus is on this area. He mentioned specific things like AI helping form better project teams.
Based on skills or interests, perhaps?
Presumably. And even AI suggesting novel problems for students to tackle. That got my attention.
AI suggesting problems. How would that even work? What kind of problems?
That's the intriguing part. Maybe analyzing trends, data, societal needs, things a human might overlook.
It could scan vast amounts of information, look for gaps, emerging issues, connections we wouldn't spot, potentially generating some really fresh, relevant challenges. That's quite something.
Yeah. And Dr. Patil, he circled back to assessment again.
The big challenge.
Reiterating that, look, continuous, really effective feedback It's just physically impossible for one teacher with tons of
The
students.
maths just doesn't work.
So he sees AI tools as potentially handling that day-to-day feedback, the real-time checks.
Allowing faculty to step in for the bigger picture assessment.
Exactly. That hybrid model again. AI handles the volume, faculty bring the nuanced judgment.
That does sound like a more sustainable, scalable way forward for assessing PBL properly.
So, thinking about all this,
Yeah.
what does the future actually look like, this AI-enabled PBL future?
Well, the picture emerging is one where AI acts as a really powerful assistant, right across the board.
From start to finish.
Pretty much. From sparking ideas and planning, managing the process, all the way through to assessment. The hope is it smooths out those logistical bumps we talked about,
Makes it more feasible.
and hopefully enhances the learning quality itself. Ultimately, it's about better preparing students with those core skills, problem solving, adaptability for a world that's, well, changing incredibly fast.
Dr. Inamdar's anecdote about AI salespeople possibly outperforming humans, that really stuck with me.
It's a stark example, isn't it?
Really underlines the scale of transformation AI might bring and why education has to adapt. Focusing on those fundamental first principles problem-solving skills seems non-negotiable.
Because just knowing stuff isn't enough anymore, if AI knows it too.
Right. It shifts the focus, doesn't it? From having the information to knowing how to ask the right questions.
And how to use the information effectively, how to leverage these AI tools as powerful resources. That's the skill set.
Being able to critically evaluate the output too, presumably.
Oh, absolutely. Knowing when the AI is helpful and when it might be confidently incorrect. Critical thinking remains paramount.
So, wrapping this up, what's the key takeaway for you, the listener? This deep dive shows, I think, a really profound shift potentially happening in education. Those long-standing struggles with making PBL work effectively, making it scalable. AI might offer real pathways forward.
Leading to learning that's more tailored to the individual, assessments that are maybe more robust, more efficient.
And all the experts we heard from, they really converged on this idea. The future demands strong problem-solving and critical thinking skills. That's what PBL aims for.
And AI looks set to become a powerful partner in achieving that aim.
So we'd encourage you to think about this. How might these AI tools, these PBL principles, impact your own learning or the education system you interact with?
What new questions does this raise for you about how we learn, how we prepare ourselves?
For a future that seems increasingly intertwined with artificial intelligence. Lots to consider.